Every time you explode in rage, you tell yourself a lie. You tell yourself you're being strong. You tell yourself you're teaching them a lesson. You tell yourself that by shouting, by breaking things, by intimidating people, you are taking control. But deep down, in the quiet moment after the storm passes, you know the truth. You weren't controlling the situation. You were losing control of your own biology. Think about the sensation of rage. Your heart pounds. Your vision narrows. Your hands shake. Ancient wisdom compares holding on to anger to grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You squeeze that coal tighter and tighter, waiting for the perfect moment to launch it at your enemy. But while you wait, who is actually burning? The person you hate? They are probably sleeping soundly. They are out living their life, completely unaware of your turmoil. But you are the one holding the fire. You are the one searing your own flesh. You are the one scarring your own soul. We mistake wrath for a weapon. We think it's a sword we can wield. But it's not a sword. It's a suicide vest. It promises you justice. It promises you relief. But it delivers nothing but ash. Today, on Soul Refined, we stop burning. We aren't just putting out the fire, we are going to find out what started it, and how to make sure it never consumes you again. First, we need to stop feeling guilty about being human. Let's get the definitions right. Anger is not a sin. Anger is biological data. It is a smoke alarm installed in your nervous system. When someone crosses a boundary, when you see injustice, when a child is hurt, the alarm rings. That is healthy. Even Jesus flipped tables in the temple when he saw corruption. That is called righteous indignation. Wrath is different. Wrath is when you decide to burn the house down just because the alarm went off. Anger focuses on the problem. This situation is wrong. Let's fix it. Wrath focuses on the person. You hurt me. Now I want you to hurt. It is the subtle, deadly shift from justice to vengeance. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, called wrath temporary madness. And if you look at your own life, you know he was right. Think about the last time you truly lost it. Were you rational? Were you logical? No. You became a slave to a reaction. And here is the hard pill to swallow. When you live in a state of wrath, you are weak. You are handing the remote control of your emotions to everyone else. If a stranger in traffic can make you scream and ruin your day, they own you. If a rude comment online can ruin your sleep, you are not free. Wrath feels like power, but it is actually the ultimate form of submission. So, why do we do it? Why is modern man so angry? We are richer, safer, and more comfortable than any generation in history, yet we are constantly boiling over. The Stoics had the answer 2,000 years ago. You don't get angry because things are bad. You get angry because you are surprised. Let me explain. If you walk outside and it's raining, you don't scream at the sky. Why? Because you accept that rain is part of nature. But if you get stuck in traffic, you scream at the dashboard. Why? Because you have a secret belief that you, and only you, are entitled to an open road. Your anger is the gap between your expectation and reality. You have a script in your head of how the world should treat you. People should be polite. My wife should read my mind. The internet should agree with me. When reality breaks your script, your ego takes a hit. And the ego protects itself with rage. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire. He dealt with plagues, betrayals, wars, and incompetent politicians every single day. He had every reason to rage. But he didn't. Why? Because he didn't lie to himself. He wrote in his journals, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I will meet the meddling, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, and the jealous." He wasn't being a pessimist. He was putting on his armor. He was saying, don't be surprised when humans act like humans. Wrath thrives on entitlement. It screams, how dare you do this to me? Wisdom whispers, of course they did. Now, how do I handle it with dignity? To understand the mechanics of this trap, we look at the very first murder in human history. The story of Cain and Abel. This isn't just a religious story, it's a psychological blueprint. It wasn't a war over land. It wasn't a fight over money. It was an ego check. Cain and Abel both bring offerings. Abel's is accepted. Cain's is not. Cain feels rejected. He feels small. He feels envy. Now, watch closely what happens next. The Bible describes wrath perfectly. It doesn't call it an emotion, it calls it a predator. God warns Cain, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Imagine a tiger crouching in the tall grass, waiting for you to make one mistake. That is wrath. It waits for the moment your logic slips. Cain didn't listen. He didn't open the door to talk. He opened the door to kill. He invited his brother into the field, the person he should have protected, and slaughtered him. And this reveals the most terrifying aspect of wrath: it blinds you. In that moment of red rage, Cain didn't see a brother. He saw an obstacle. He saw a target. He thought that eliminating Abel would eliminate his pain. He was wrong. The blood washed off his hands, but it stained his soul forever. He became a wanderer, exiled and alone. This is the lesson: when you destroy others to fix your internal pain, you don't heal. You just become a monster with a headache. Thousands of years later, modern neuroscience has mapped the exact path Cain took. We call it the amygdala hijack. Here is what happens in your brain when you lose it. Deep in your temporal lobes, you have the amygdala. This is the lizard brain. Its job is survival. It detects threats. Normally, it sends information to your prefrontal cortex. That's the CEO of your brain. That's the part that handles logic, empathy, consequences, and morality. But when you fly into a rage, the amygdala hits the panic button. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. And here is the kicker: it literally cuts the power to your prefrontal cortex. Your IQ drops. You become biologically stupid. You are running on pure instinct. This is why you say things you don't mean. This is why you punch walls. This is why you type that toxic comment that gets you fired. You are not you anymore. You are a biological reaction. The modern world is designed to trigger this hijack constantly. Social media algorithms feed you outrage because outraged people click more. They keep your amygdala swollen and your logic shut down. This is where you need a circuit breaker. This is why I rely on Ever Accountable. We usually talk about accountability software for fighting lust, but it is a powerful weapon against digital wrath too. Think about it. Who are you when no one is watching? Are you the guy leaving toxic comments at 2 a.m.? Are you the guy bullying people on Twitter? Are you consuming content that fuels your hatred? Ever Accountable monitors your activity and shares it with a trusted friend. Why does this work? Because secrecy fuels the amygdala, but observation turns the prefrontal cortex back on. When you know a mentor or a friend is going to see that comment, you pause. That pause saves your integrity. Don't let the algorithm hijack your brain. Put a guard at the door. I've put a link in the description. Start protecting your mind today. What is the real cost of living in wrath? It's not just the physical damage, though the cortisol will rot your arteries and shorten your life. The real cost is isolation. You might think you are winning. You scream loud enough, and your wife stops arguing. You intimidate your kids, and they go to their rooms. You bully your employees, and they do what you say. You feel powerful. You feel like the king. But look around. The castle is empty. People stop loving you, they start managing you. They walk on eggshells around you. They hide the truth because they are afraid of the explosion. They stop connecting with you. Wrath builds a wall around you that no one can climb. You end up right, victorious, and completely alone on a throne of ash. So, how do we drop the coal? How do we break the hijack? Tactically, you need to master the gap. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who had every reason to rage, said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." In our response lies our growth and our freedom. When the fire rises, shut your mouth. Wait 60 seconds. Breathe. Let the blood return to your brain. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. But deeply, you have to do the hardest thing a man can do, forgiveness. I know. You hate that word. It sounds soft. But forget the Hallmark cards. Forgiveness isn't a feeling. It's a financial transaction. It means canceling the debt. Wrath holds onto the ledger. It says, you owe me. You hurt me. I will collect this debt, even if it kills me. Forgiveness is the moment you look at the ledger and say, you can't pay me back. You can never fix what you broke. And I refuse to be your debt collector anymore. I am closing the account. You don't forgive them for their sake. You forgive them so you can stop being their prisoner. If you don't know how to do this, if your resentment is deep, old, and rotting inside you, you need a guide. That is why I recommend Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lisa Terkeurst. This isn't a book of cheap platitudes. It is a surgical guide. She shows you how to process pain without turning it into poison. She teaches you how to forgive people who aren't even sorry. If you are tired of carrying the burning coal, this book will teach you how to open your hand. You have a choice to make today. You can be a volcano, explosive, unpredictable, leaving a trail of destruction in the name of power, terrifying the people you are supposed to protect. Or you can be a hearth, a controlled fire that gives warmth, safety, and light to everyone in the room. Real strength isn't the ability to crush. Real strength is the ability to restrain. Blessed are the meek, for they have swords, but they know when to keep them sheathed. Drop the coal. Let your hand heal. If you are ready to master your emotions, refine your character, and stop burning yourself alive, then join us. Subscribe to Soul Refined. We are building a brotherhood of men who are in control, not controlled. I'll see you in the next one. Stay cool.